The junkyard whispers. The wind blew through the old junkyard, carrying the sound of creaking metal and the soft rattle of broken parts. Travis, a middle-aged human mechanic with rough hands and a kind heart, stepped over a rusted engine. He was looking for something useful, an old solar battery or maybe a half-working motor. He came to this place every few days. The junkyard was huge and filled with mountains of scrap. No one lived here. Or so he thought. As he climbed over a pile of broken metal, Travis stopped. He heard something, a small sound. Not metal, not wind. It was crying. He froze. There, it was again. A weak, trembling whimper. He followed the sound carefully, moving slowly, boots crunching on gravel and glass. The cries came from deep inside a narrow passage between two piles of shipwreck pieces. The deeper he went, the colder it became. Then, in the shadow of an old, half-buried cargo pod, he saw her. A small alien girl, no more than 7 years old, sat there, arms around her knees. Her skin was pale purple, covered in dirt and tiny cuts. She was shaking. Beside her, lying still, was a taller figure, a woman, the girl's mother perhaps. The girl saw him. Her big golden eyes widened in fear. She gasped and pulled back, hugging her mother's body tightly. "Please," she whispered, voice dry and broken. "Don't hurt us." Travis slowly knelt, down, hands raised to show he meant no harm. "I won't," he said gently. "I promise." He pulled a bottle of water from his bag and placed it on the ground. Then a wrapped sandwich. He pushed them forward slowly. The girl stared at them for a moment. Then, after making sure Travis didn't move, she crawled forward and grabbed the bottle. She helped her mother drink first. The woman was weak, her face thin and bruised, but still breathing. Travis waited silently. He saw they wore torn blankets, barely enough to protect them from the cold metal floor. The girl's shoes were mismatched and one was falling apart. After some time, the girl looked at him again. "What's your name?" Travis asked softly. She didn't answer. "Mine's Travis. I work with machines. I fix broken things." She looked down and touched her mother's hand. "We are broken," she said quietly. Travis felt a tight knot in his chest. "Do you live here?" he asked. The girl nodded. "Now we do. We were thrown away. Like the rest of this junk." He felt anger rise in his heart, but he pushed it down. This wasn't the time. "Why?" he asked gently. She shook her head. "Bad people. We ran. Mom got hurt. We had nowhere else to go." Travis looked around. The junkyard was no place for a child, let alone a sick mother. Sharp metal everywhere. No food, no heat, nothing. "How long have you been here?" he asked. She held up 3 fingers. 3 days? He said. She nodded. Travis stood up slowly. "This is no place for you. I know somewhere safer." The girl pulled back. "No. We can't trust anyone." "I understand," Travis said. "You don't know me, but I swear, I won't hurt you." She stared at him for a long moment. Finally, she whispered, "What do you want from us?" He shook his head. "Nothing. Just want to help." The girl looked at her mother, then at the sky. Cold wind blew, again making her shiver. "Do you have a heater?" she asked. "I do," Travis said. "And blankets and food and a small space we can make warm." Still unsure, the girl didn't move. "Please," Travis said. "At least let me carry your mother somewhere safe." The girl hesitated. Then, with a small nod, she allowed it. Travis gently lifted the alien woman into his arms. She was light, too light, and far too cold. The girl followed close behind as Travis made his way out of the junkyard. They walked in silence. The sky was turning orange as the sun began to fall. Travis led them to his old trailer at the edge of the scrapyard. It wasn't fancy, but it was dry, warm, and had enough space for them. He laid the mother on the bed and turned on the small heater. He gave the girl a warm blanket and let her eat another sandwich. As she slowly ate, her eyes stayed on him, watching his every move. "Why are you helping us?" she asked at last. Travis smiled. "Because no one helped me once, and I know how it feels." The girl said nothing, but a tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it quickly. Then she whispered, "Thank you." That night, Travis sat outside, staring at the stars. He knew something strange had begun, and somehow he knew. This was just the beginning: rust, ruin, and secrets. The old trailer creaked as the wind howled outside. Inside, the alien girl sat beside her mother, who still hadn't woken up. Travis handed her a cup of warm broth. She looked at it, smelled it carefully, then sipped. Her eyes softened, just a little. "My name is Mira," she said suddenly, not looking at him. Travis nodded. "Nice to meet you, Mira." She looked up. "Is this your home?" "Kind of. It's just a trailer, but it's all mine." Mira placed the cup down and whispered, "Better than cold metal." Travis sat down on the floor across from her. He didn't want to crowd her. "What happened to you two?" Mira hesitated, then she reached into the torn pocket of her coat and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. She unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a small, broken toy. A round metal orb, cracked and missing pieces, but when she pressed a button on it, a tiny light flickered. Then a flickering hologram appeared. Travis leaned in. The image showed an alien city burning. Ships flew overhead, dropping fire. People were running, screaming. In the corner of the hologram, a tall woman, Mira's mother, held Mira tight as they ran. "Pirates?" Travis asked. Mira shook her head. "Worse, our own kind." Travis frowned. "Why?" "We didn't follow their rules. My mom said they wanted her to do something bad. She refused. They called her a traitor." The hologram faded. "They took everything," Mira said. "Our home, our family. They chased us off-world." Travis leaned back, staring at the toy. It looked like junk, but it held proof. "Why keep it?" "It's the only thing left," Mira said. "It also holds data, a warning my mom recorded, but I don't know how to unlock it." Travis gently took the orb and examined it. "Maybe I can fix this. I've worked on old tech before." Mira hesitated, then slowly handed it to him. Outside, the wind howled louder. Something banged against the side of the trailer. Travis stood quickly. He grabbed his flashlight and opened the door. Nothing but shadows. Still. It felt like someone was watching. He closed the door and locked it. "We need a better place," he muttered. Mira looked up. "What do you mean?" "This trailer isn't safe. If someone saw me bring you here..." She clutched her blanket tighter. Travis knelt beside a cabinet and pulled out a box of old plans. Blueprints, maps, diagrams. He spread them on the table. "I've been saving scrap for years," he said. "Engines, panels, frames, even glass. I always thought I'd build something big one day." He looked at Mira. "Maybe today is the day." She blinked. "Build what?" "A new place. For you. For your mom. A real shelter. Something hidden. Something warm." Mira didn't speak for a moment. Then her voice came soft. "Why would you do that?" Travis smiled. "Because everyone deserves a safe place." The next morning, Travis drove deep into the junkyard, farther than most ever went. He found an old cargo container half buried, under junk but solid, no holes, still strong. He began clearing metal, moving parts, stacking materials. He worked for hours, sweat dripping, hands stained. Back at the trailer, Mira watched over her mom. She started to explore the small space. She found Travis's tools, his spare food, even a cracked picture frame with an old photo, a woman and a little girl. Mira stared at it. "Your family?" Travis came in, wiping his hands. He paused, looking at the photo. "Used to be," he said quietly. "I lost them years ago. Accident." "I'm sorry." "Me too." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Mira asked, "Can I help?" Travis blinked. "With the building?" She nodded. "I know how to weld," he laughed. "Really? My mom taught me. We fixed small things when we traveled." Travis grinned. "All right then, partner. Let's build something no one can destroy." That evening, as the sun set and shadows stretched across the scrapyard, a shape moved far behind the junk piles. A dark figure wearing metal armor and a cloak watched the trailer from afar. He held a strange device in his hand. It beeped once. He whispered, "Found you. The first night." The sky was dark when Travis returned to the trailer. His arms were sore and his hands were covered in dust and grease. Mira stood by the window watching the stars. The small heater hummed quietly in the corner. Her mother still hadn't woken up. "I found something today," Travis said, stepping inside. "An old cargo shell buried deep. Solid walls, big space. If we clean it and patch the roof, it'll be a real shelter." Mira didn't turn. "Someone's watching us." Travis froze. "What?" "I saw a shadow. It was standing far away, but it moved when I looked." Travis walked to the door and peered out into the night. Nothing but still junk piles and silent metal ruins. He closed the door carefully and locked it. "Did you tell anyone about me and my mom?" Mira asked. "No one," Travis said. "Not a soul." Mira hugged herself. "Then how did they find us?" Travis didn't answer. Instead, he picked up the cracked metal orb, the broken toy with the hidden message. "I think this is still sending out a signal," he said. "I'll take it apart tonight. We can't take chances." Mira nodded slowly. "They'll come. If they know where we are, they'll come." Later that night, as the heater warmed the trailer, Mira finally fell asleep beside her mother. Travis sat at his workbench, pulling the orb apart piece by piece. Tiny circuits, a weak transmitter, old alien tech, nothing he'd ever seen, but not beyond repair. As he worked, he thought about his past. He once had a daughter, not too different from Mira. Same fire, same stubborn spirit. But she was gone now. An accident. A mistake he still carried every day. Helping Mira. Maybe it was a way to feel useful again, to matter. He sighed and rubbed his eyes. Click. A small panel in the orb popped open. A soft light flashed. Then, without warning, a hologram played in the air above his table. It was Mira's mother, awake, strong, and angry. "If you are seeing this," her voice said, "we're likely dead or hunted. My name is Lirea of the Thyan people. I was a ship technician, but I learned the truth. Our leaders have been hiding something terrible. They destroyed villages to keep it secret. I refused to help them." The image flickered. "Now they chase me. My daughter is innocent, please. Whoever finds this, protect her. She's all I have." The hologram vanished. Travis sat still, heart pounding. This wasn't just about a mother and daughter in danger. They were holding dangerous knowledge, and someone would kill to keep it buried. Suddenly, a loud thump outside. Travis grabbed a pipe and moved to the door. Mira sat up fast, eyes wide. "What was that?" she asked. "Stay back," Travis whispered. Another thump. Then a dragging sound like metal scraping metal. Travis opened the door slowly. Nothing. The yard was still. The junk piles stood like silent towers under the moonlight, but something felt wrong. Then he saw it, a mark scratched into the ground near his trailer, a symbol carved deeply into the dirt with a blade, a half circle with 3 slashes through it. Mira gasped. "That's their mark, the ones who hunt." Travis bent down to touch it. It was fresh. "They know we're here," he muttered. He moved fast after that. By sunrise, Travis had disconnected the orb's power source. He placed it in a sealed lead box to block signals. He packed tools, blankets, food, and loaded them onto his small hover cart. "Mira," he said, "we're leaving the trailer. Today." "What about Mom?" "I'll carry her. That cargo shell I found, it's far, but it'll be safe." Mira nodded. No argument, just silent fear. She gently kissed her mother's forehead. "We'll be safe, Mama," she whispered. "I promise." They moved through the junkyard as fast as they could. Travis pushed the hover cart over metal hills and under broken cranes. He carried Larea on his back, wrapped in thick blankets. Mira followed close, alert, eyes scanning every shadow. Birds flew above them, crying loudly. Somewhere, something, metal collapsed in the wind. Finally, they reached it. The cargo shell. It was large, solid, and sunken into the earth like a half-buried ship. Travis opened the door with effort. It groaned loudly but held firm. Inside, it was dusty and dark, but safe. Mira ran her hand over the walls. "It's perfect." "It will be," Travis said. "With work." They set up inside. He laid Larea on a new mattress made from insulation rolls. He put the heater near her and sealed the doors tight. Then, he stood back and looked around. This wasn't just a shell anymore. It was home. Far away, beyond the junk hills, the man in armor stood again. His visor glowed red. He looked at the empty trailer and the broken signal. He smiled coldly. "They moved," he whispered. "But not far." He turned and vanished into the metal maze. Scrap Dreams, the cargo shell echoed with every sound. Footsteps, breathing, even Mira's light humming. Travis was fixing a panel near the roof, balancing on an old crate. Below him, Mira sorted metal pieces by size and shape. She wasn't the same quiet girl anymore. She smiled now. She talked while she worked. Her hands moved with care. She called Travis Fixer like it was his new name. "You ever build a house before, Fixer?" she asked with a smirk. "Not like this," Travis replied, wiping sweat from his forehead. "But first time for everything." The shell had become a project. Together they turned junk into walls, floors, and a ceiling that didn't leak. Travis added solar panels from an old shuttle wing. Mira made curtains from soft cloth scraps. She even painted flowers on one wall using colored rust. It wasn't fancy, but it was theirs. Larea, Mira's mother, was still weak, but finally awake. She couldn't move much, but she watched them with tired, grateful eyes. "Is this all made from scrap?" she asked one day, her voice hoarse. Mira nodded. "Fixer did most of it, I just helped." Larea looked at Travis. "You saved us." Travis just shrugged. "You needed a home, so we built one." But Larea's eyes darkened. "It won't be enough. If they find us, we'll worry about that later," Travis said. She didn't reply, but her eyes stayed on the small window like she was waiting for something bad. That evening, Travis and Mira sat outside, on a metal bench they built from a broken cargo ramp. The sun was setting behind piles of scrap, painting the sky orange and gold. "Do you think she'll ever smile again?" Mira asked, picking at a loose bolt in her hand. "She will," Travis said. "Takes time to heal." "I used to dream of a place like this," she whispered. "Somewhere quiet, safe, with warm food and stars at night. Dreams are a good place to start." Mira looked up. "What did you dream about before?" Travis didn't answer at first. Then he said, "I used to dream of fixing a starship and flying far away." "Why didn't you?" "Because I broke before the ship did," he said softly. Mira didn't ask more. She just nodded and stayed beside him until the stars came out. But far away, someone had already found their trail. The armored stranger returned to the burned symbol near the trailer. He found boot tracks, small prints, and the heat marks of a hover cart he followed. Quietly, patiently, he had time. Back at the shelter, Mira was sleeping beside her mother. Travis worked quietly by lantern light. He had taken apart the orb completely. Now he tried to unlock the hidden data buried in its memory core. Lines of alien code flashed across his screen. Then something clicked. A hidden file opened. And what Travis saw made his blood run cold. It was a list. Coordinates, names, details. Planets marked for destruction. Secret orders signed by alien leaders. And one name stood out. Larea. Larea had been a whistleblower. She didn't just run. She tried to stop a war. And now, the war wanted to silence her. Travis closed the screen slowly. The truth felt heavy. They weren't just hiding. They were running from a government that would kill to erase this data. He turned to look at Mira and Lyria sleeping peacefully. "I'll protect you," he whispered, "no matter what it takes." The next morning, he buried the data chip inside a steel wall, sealed tight and hidden behind a fake panel. Only he knew where it was. Mira found him, outside welding metal to form a second door. "A secret exit," he explained, "for when the bad ones come. For when we need a way out no one else knows." Mira nodded. "Smart," Travis smiled. "You learning well, partner?" She held out a strange item, an old robotic arm she polished clean. "Let's turn this into a security arm. We can make it hold a pipe to swing at intruders." Travis blinked, then laughed. "You really are my apprentice." That night, as they finished their meal, Lyria finally spoke. "I had a dream," she said slowly. "There was light and peace, and a man made of fire stood between us and the dark." She looked at Travis. "I think it was you." Travis didn't know what to say, so he said nothing. But in his chest he felt something warm, something alive, something like hope. In the shadows beyond the junk hills, the armored stranger watched the soft lights glowing inside the cargo shell. He placed a hand on his weapon. "End of the dream," he whispered. Fire in the yard. The morning started quiet. A soft breeze stirred the scrap piles and warm sunlight lit the edges of the shelter. Mira was drawing with a piece of coal on a metal panel. She sketched stars, moons, and a small family holding hands. Inside, Lyria sat up, her strength slowly returning. She could eat on her own now. She smiled more, soft, tired smiles, but they meant the world to Mira. Travis worked outside, bolting solar wires into place. His dream was nearly complete. Power, safety, and comfort, all from junk. But dreams don't last forever. He noticed it first, a strange smell. Not oil, not rust, smoke. He dropped his tools and turned fast. Black smoke curled above the junk piles, rising. Quickly. Then came the sound. Crackling fire, metal popping, wind feeding the flames. "Mira!" Travis shouted. She looked up, and her eyes went wide. Fire was racing down the side of the hill, leaping from pile to pile. Burning wires snapped, like whips. Old fuel tanks exploded in bursts of orange and red. "It's coming," Mira screamed. Travis ran to the shelter. "Get your mother out now." Inside, Lyria tried to stand but stumbled. Mira grabbed one arm. Travis grabbed the other. Together, they pulled her out. The heat was already reaching the cargo shells, outer walls. Sparks rained down like fireflies. They dragged Lyria toward the hover cart. Then, boom! An explosion behind them sent sharp metal flying. A piece cut Travis's leg. He fell but pushed himself back up, blood running down his boot. Mira was crying, struggling to lift her mother. Travis picked Lyria up in his arms again, teeth clenched in pain. "Go!" he barked. "To the north wall. We can hide behind the junk crane." Smoke filled the air. Breathing became hard. Everything turned orange and black. As they reached the crane, Travis ducked behind a rusted metal container. Mira coughed hard. Lyria passed out in his arms. They huddled close, waiting, and from the flames, a shadow walked forward. Tall, armored, silent. Travis saw the red glow of a helmet visor. It wasn't an accident. Someone had set the fire. The figure stopped just 10 feet away. He spoke. "You shouldn't have helped them, human." Travis stood slowly, shielding Mira and Lyria behind him. His leg throbbed, but he didn't flinch. "They're just people," he said. "Not enemies." The stranger laughed coldly. "They're fugitives, carriers of dangerous truth." "You're afraid of the truth," Travis said. "I destroy the truth," the man replied, pulling out a weapon. A plasma blade hissed to life. Travis picked up a heavy wrench lying nearby. It was old, rusted, but solid. "You'll have to go through me." Cool. Man tilted his head. Gladly. He lunged. Travis swung the wrench hard. Metal clashed against glowing plasma. Sparks flew. Travis dodged, rolled, and grabbed a pipe to block another strike, but he was outmatched. The attacker kicked him hard in the chest. Travis hit the ground. Wind knocked out of him. Mira screamed. The attacker turned to her. "You first?" he said, coldly, walking toward the girl. Mira held up a small object, a metal cube with blinking lights. Travis gasped. "No, Mira, that's—" She pressed it. Boom! A small explosion knocked the attacker backward. It wasn't strong enough to kill, but it burned part of his suit and sent him flying into a scrap wall. Travis crawled to her. "Where did you get that?" She smiled weakly. "I fixed one of your traps. Thought you'd be proud." "I'm proud, and also terrified." The armored man stood again, smoke rising from his shoulder. "You'll regret that, girl." He aimed a weapon, but Larea's voice rang out loud and sharp. "Enough!" She stood, weak but fierce, holding a broken rod like a spear. "You want me? Take me. Leave them." "No!" Mira cried. Travis stepped in front again. "You'll take none of us." The attacker raised his arm again, but then a loud siren wailed across the junkyard. Spotlights turned on. From above. A patrol ship hovered overhead, lights flashing. A voice boomed from speakers. "This area is under human protection. Drop your weapon." The attacker looked up, hesitated, then vanished into the scrap, disappearing like smoke in the wind. The ship landed nearby. 2 officers stepped out. One looked at Travis. "We got your signal. Took us a while, but we traced the data." He saw Lyrea. "You're Lyrea of Thayan?" She nodded slowly. "You're under our protection now." Hours later, the fire was gone. The air was filled with ash. The shelter had taken damage but stood. Travis limped, leg bandaged. Mira held her mother's hand. "You saved us," Lyrea whispered. Travis looked at them both. "No, we saved each other." Mira hugged him, and for the first time since the junkyard whispers, he felt home. A new shelter, a new name. The fire was gone, but the smell of smoke still lingered in the air. The shelter had black burns on the outside walls and melted wires dangled like vines. The junkyard looked like a battlefield. But the little family was still standing. Mira walked carefully through the ruins, gathering anything that hadn't been destroyed. Broken tools, bent panels, even melted glass. "Why save all this junk?" one of the patrol officers asked her kindly. Mira looked up. "Because Fixer can turn anything into something." The officer smiled, a little confused. "Inside the half-burned cargo shell." Travis sat beside Lyrea. She was awake, eyes clearer now, her body still weak, but her spirit strong. "You lost a lot because of us," she said softly. Travis shook his head. "I didn't lose anything. I found something." She tilted her head. "Like what?" He smiled. "A reason to keep going." The officers brought supplies, real food, medicine, tools. They patched the worst damage and left behind a communication beacon for emergencies. Before they left, one officer turned to Lyrea. "If you want to come with us, we can take you to safety." Lyrea looked at Mira, then at Travis. She held her daughter's hand. "No," she said firmly. "We'll stay." The officer nodded. "Then this place is officially registered as protected territory. Junkyard or not, it's your home now." With help from Mira, Travis began rebuilding. But something felt different now. They weren't just hiding, they were living. A week passed. Travis hammered new supports into the walls. Mira painted the inside again, this time with suns, flowers, and a strange animal with 6 legs and big eyes. "What is that?" Travis asked, pointing at it. "It's a dream creature," Mira said proudly. "It protects good people." "Well, let's hope it's watching us now." She giggled. One evening, as the stars came out, Lyrea sat outside with Travis, wrapped in a thick blanket. Her voice was low but steady. "Back on my homeworld, I was a systems engineer. I never built with my hands, everything was designed by machines," She looked around at the shelter, at the walls made of scrap, at the patched roof. But this feels real, because it came from pain, and from love. Travis nodded. You gave us safety, she said. You gave me purpose, he replied. She turned to him. We can't call you Fixer forever, he raised an eyebrow. Why not? I kinda like it. She smiled. You need a name in our language. A new name. Mira popped her head out from the shelter. I have one. They both looked at her. Mira grinned. We call him Kelnor. It means the one who builds when others destroy. Travis blinked. Kelnor. That's kinda awesome. Larea nodded slowly. It suits you. Travis, now Kelnor, looked up at the stars. He never thought he'd need a new name, but somehow it felt right. That night he couldn't sleep. He stepped outside and sat on a metal crate staring at the stars again. So much had changed. A month ago, he was just a lonely mechanic in a dying world. Now, he was a protector, a builder, a father figure, maybe even more. Footsteps behind him. Mira sat beside him holding 2 steaming cups. Hot leaf tea, she said. Mom taught me. He took the cup, surprised. Thanks, kiddo. They sipped in silence. Then Mira whispered, Are we really safe now? Travis didn't lie. Safer than before. But the world's still dangerous. She nodded. That's okay, as long as we have you. Travis felt his chest tighten. She leaned her head on his arm, and he knew. He would die to protect her. But far beyond the junkyard, on a ship drifting silently through black space, a red light blinked on a screen. A soldier stepped forward. Target. Signal lost, but confirmed alive. A voice from the shadows replied, Send another hunter. This time, finish the job. Back in the junkyard, Mira was asleep on a mattress made from recycled insulation, curled up under a blanket. Lyria was humming a soft lullaby in her language. Travis stood by the door holding a wrench like a sword. Watching, waiting, protecting. He wasn't just a junkyard fixer anymore. He was Kelnor, the builder of broken things, and now, a father to the forgotten. The ones who hunt the stars above the junkyard were peaceful, but something darker was falling from the sky. A small black ship, silent and fast, slipped through the clouds without a sound. It didn't blink. It didn't broadcast. It came like a ghost. Inside it sat a new hunter, smaller than the last, smarter, faster, deadlier. And this time, he wasn't here to ask questions. Back at the shelter, Travis, now known as Kelnor, was reinforcing the outer wall with thick steel plates. Mira worked beside him, tightening bolts and painting new warning signs. Do you think another one will come? She asked, not looking up. Kelnor paused. Yes, he said simply, because your mother still holds the truth. Mira didn't speak for a moment. Then, we'll be ready. Kelnor looked at her, young, brave, smarter than most adults he knew. He placed a hand on her shoulder. We will. That night the wind shifted. It came colder, sharper, like it carried something in it. Kelnor stood watch again, a weapon beside him, listening to the sounds of metal creaking. Larea stayed inside, working on a transmitter, trying to send her warning to trusted contacts across the stars. Suddenly, a soft thud. Then silence. Kelnor didn't move. Another sound, a hiss, like air escaping from a wound. Then boom! The outer wall burst open. Metal flew inward. Smoke poured in. From the smoke, the new hunter stepped forward. Black armor, no mask, no mercy. A thin scar crossed his face and his eyes were cold as ice. Mira screamed. Kelnor charged without thinking. They crashed into each other, man and monster. Kelnor swung a metal rod. The hunter ducked, kicked him hard in the chest, then pulled a stun blade from his belt. You should have stayed out of it, the hunter growled. Kelnor spat blood. You should have stayed away from my family. They fought hard. Strikes, blocks, blood, dust. Mira dragged her mother to safety while the two battled like beasts in a cage. But the hunter was stronger, faster. He threw Kellnor across the room, the wall dented from the impact. Kellnor coughed hard, bones screaming. The hunter raised his blade. This ends now. He stepped forward, but suddenly, the wall lit up. A blinding white flash. Lirea's voice screamed, "Now!" A secret device. One she'd been hiding. Detonated a shock burst. It wasn't meant to kill, it was meant to blind. The hunter stumbled, screaming. Mira threw a net of electrified wire over him. He thrashed. Kellnor rose, grabbed a pipe, and slammed it down. Once, twice, 3 times. The hunter went still, breathing, but not moving. Silence. Then Mira dropped to her knees and burst into tears. Kellnor limped toward her, hugged her tight. "You did good," he whispered. "You saved us." "No," she sobbed. "We saved each other." They tied the hunter, removed his weapons, and used a flare to signal the human patrol. Lirea finally uploaded the data, the real proof, to secure channels. By morning, patrol ships surrounded the area. This time they weren't just there to help. They were there to protect. One officer approached Kellnor, nodding with respect. "You're not just a citizen anymore," he said. "You're a defender. We want to register this area as a formal refuge." Kellnor looked at Lirea and Mira. He nodded. "Yes. A place where no one gets thrown away." Weeks passed. The junkyard changed. What was once a graveyard of rust became something alive. A sanctuary. Other refugees came. Alien families, outcasts, hunted souls. Kellnor helped build them rooms. Mira taught their children how to weld, how to paint, how to dream again. Lirea became a voice, sending messages, spreading truth, making sure no one else would suffer in silence. And Kellnor? He became something new. Not just a fixer, not just a fighter, but a founder of a home built from broken things and love. One day a reporter came to interview them. She asked Mira, "Who is he to you?" Mira looked at Kellnor, smiling bright. "He's my human," she said. "He turned our junk into a life. In a galaxy full of ruin, one man didn't run from the broken. He built something better from it. And in doing so, he built a family."